So we are right now taking a look at Austin City leadership addressing the explosive devices that police found, or set off rather, yesterday in South Austin. We know these devices were discovered Tuesday at a home on Vintage Stave Road in Southeast Austin near the Manchac neighborhood. Police say the only safe way to get rid of it was to blow it up.
Yeah, authorities evacuated nearby neighbors before the bomb squad detonated the explosive around 5 o'clock yesterday night. The home where the device was discovered now demolished, as you can see. The blast also damaged the home next door. Police did detain one person. Let's go ahead and listen in on that press conference. There's Austin Mayor Kirk Watson.
Stave Road in South Austin. APD's bomb squad and the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives had responded to the scene on Tuesday after receiving a call about a possible explosive device. Following an investigation and after the subject was taken into custody, it was determined that due to the amount of explosive material that the safest course of action was to detonate it on site. And so I want to say thank you to Chief Lisa Davis and everyone involved at APD. I want to thank them. I want to say thanks to them and point out that it is thanks to them that this incident ended with no injuries and relatively little damage other than to the home where the explosive material was found. I also want to say a big thank you to our partners at the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives for their work and assistance. The investigation into this incident is ongoing, and Chief Davis will provide more information in just a moment. As I pointed out already, also this week, there was a home explosion on Sunday in North Austin at a home on Double Spur Loop. Both Austin Fire Department and Austin Travis County EMS responded, along with several other county, state, and federal agencies. The Travis County Fire Marshal is the investigator in that case, and that investigation is ongoing. We can say that the issue was isolated to the home where the explosion occurred. On Monday, the City of Austin's Development Services Department began outreach to the properties that were impacted. Assessment teams visited each impacted property, completing more than 60 damage assessments. The Development Services Department, or DSD as we sometimes refer to it, is prioritizing review and permitting for all emergency repair work for these properties so that we don't get in the way of people being able to get their properties back where they want them. Again, we want to underscore that these events are entirely separate, with entirely separate apparent causes. In both cases, I'm proud of the response by the city departments and our county, state, and federal partners, and I'm incredibly grateful that there was no loss of life. So with that, I will ask Chief Davis to come to the podium and say a few words. Chief?
Yep. Thank you, Mayor. All right, thank you. Good morning. I'm Lisa Davis. I am the Chief of Police for the Austin Police Department. Today I'm going to share some the investigative details regarding the APD bomb squad's response that began on Tuesday, April 15th, and the subsequent detonation of the explosive material. I think it's important to talk about why this 24 hours. On Tuesday evening, a call was received from a concerned citizen about potential bomb material inside of a residence. Patrol responded to that and immediately called our bomb squad, our EOD, to the scene. They are the experts. Once they were there, and you think about coming into the evening, there is a lot of investigative process that has to go into that. They have to get a search warrant. They have to get the people out of the house. They have to look at the surrounding area. That was done. The individual was immediately placed into custody, and then the houses surrounding the area were immediately vacated. So until that was done, I want to say a big thank you to Lieutenant Myrick, who stayed in the parking lot overnight, waiting for those search warrants to get done, waiting for all of the things to get completed so we could get this going. We did not ever leave that scene from the minute it came out, and so I just want to say thank you to that. All right. Let's see. All right. We responded and immediate assistance from Austin Fire and Austin Travis EMS, our federal partners, again, from the ATF and the FBI. Thank you for that. And again, when we talk about it means to be part of a task force, this is it. This is a response, that coordinated effort, and what we saw. So thank you to our federal partners. Appreciate that. So a search warrant was completed for the resident, which resulted in locating a large quantity of homemade explosives and explosive precursors. In conjunction with, again, ATF, EMS, FBI, and AFD, APD bomb technicians executed a plan to render the scene safe. During the 24-hour investigative process, it was determined that the only way to safely detonate some of the explosive material inside of the residence was to detonate it on site. So if you can imagine getting inside and finding all of these chemicals, and again, in that 24-hour process, it was also about chemists getting involved, ATF, all of those professionals weighing in on what this looks like and what the potential that these chemicals could cause. So residents in the area, again, were evacuated out of an abundance of caution, and streets nearby were closed to ensure the safety of our community. The explosive material inside the home was detonated inside the residence at 5 p.m. yesterday. The home that contained the explosive material sustained major damage, and a house directly next door sustained some minor damage to the siding. There were no injuries or other damaged homes. The suspect is a 66-year-old Stephen Aldrich, a white male, was placed under arrest for felony possession of components and explosives. Aldrich had previous explosives-related arrests in Williamson County for felony prohibited weapon, in which he served a sentence of 6 years confinement. And he had, until yesterday, about 2 weeks to go on his parole for that offense. And so our SWAT team and our EOD is familiar with him and his bomb-making shenanigans from the past. So again, he was sentenced to 6 years there in confinement, 2 of which he served in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Again, still on parole for a couple of weeks. The investigation is ongoing, and no further specific details of the case will be released at this time to protect the integrity of the investigation. The entire incident could have ended in a much worse scenario. So again, I'm very thankful and I'm very proud of our EOD and all of our federal partners here that no lives were lost and that no one was injured. I would like to conclude by reiterating the importance of, again, those joint agency collaborations that ensure the safety of everyone in the community and first responders during a very volatile situation. This could have been, you think about the potential for this incident and what could have been, this was stopped. And so again, I'm very proud. Lastly, I'd like to thank the community members that signed up and received Everbridge emergency notifications. You think about the reverse 911, the things we had to do. If you sign up to www.warrencentraltexas.org and click Get Alerts button, that will be an easier way for us to start communicating these issues if something were to come up in the future. Mayor, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, once again, I want to say thank you to Chief Davis and Austin Police Department and all of our partners, our federal partners, and everybody that has been a part of all of this. And now if you have a couple questions, we'll try to answer those.
Was Aldrich being monitored during this time, or did you have eyes on?
And we've been listening to a live press conference from Austin Mayor Kirk Watson and Police Chief Lisa Davis. We have a better understanding of what happened this week with 2 separate incidents. So let's touch on the detonation that happened yesterday. Mayor Kirk Watson said that they waited 24 hours. Authorities waited 24 hours because they had to get a search warrant. They had to evacuate homes and close all the nearby streets. But it was the amount of homemade explosive materials and precursors like chemicals that made it too dangerous for them to try to remove that. So they intentionally detonated all those materials inside the house in South Austin.
The good news is they said no one was hurt. The home obviously was damaged. It had the explosives in it, minor damage to the home next to it. We also just learned for the first time just now that 66-year-old Stephen Aldrich was arrested for this. He was in the home with all the explosives. And I think it was actually Chief Davis who said that he also had been sentenced to 6 years in jail in the past on related charges and is still on parole at this point.
Yeah, he is in custody facing probably a new charge at this point. All right. And they were very mindful to say that this incident, when they discovered the homemade explosives from a concerned citizen on Tuesday, and then they detonated it yesterday, has nothing to do with the home explosion that happened Sunday morning in North Austin.
Right,
We don't know the cause of that.
Right, the mayor completely separate, but the mayor did say, however, that he did send crews out, assessment teams, and they did 60 damage assessments working as fast as possible to go ahead and make sure that they get the building permits as quickly as possible, because we know that more than 24 homes were damaged in that explosion on Sunday.
Right. And those homeowners are waiting to get repairs done. Of course, there's an insurance matter too.
Right.
All right, we'll have much more on this story coming up on our later newscast. But for